Hey guys, it's Jacqueline and welcome back to another speed build in Sims 4, and today I am building a converted barn. So this barn, originally when I was building it, I was looking for a reference picture and I was planning on doing like the traditional like red barn, nice big white doors and stuff like that. So it's going to be a pretty traditional barn and probably furnished traditionally on the inside, but then I came across this reference picture which I will try to pop into the screen now. And basically in this reference picture, it's rustic, but they've added these big black glass windows onto the sides of the barn that make it look really, really modern, or like very sleek and updated. And I really, really liked that idea, so I decided that that was what I was going to do with my barn. And it obviously couldn't recreate it exactly just because one of those walls, the entire glass wall, or the entire wall is glass. And so I did not have the ability to do that, unfortunately, in The Sims 4. It's just a limitation we have, but I still think I managed to do it pretty well, and I am actually very, very happy with the way that this build turned out. The thing is, I don't know when I'm going to actually be able to use it for like gameplay, because usually when I do builds, I put them into my save file, so I have kind of a purpose for them. But with this one, I really didn't have, or I didn't know what I was going to do with it, because it doesn't really fit. It's, like you can see here, built in Brindleton Bay, but it doesn't necessarily fit with the aesthetic that I usually go for when I'm building in Brindleton Bay. And also, by the way, so the main packs that are included in this build, although it's built in Brindleton Bay, I actually think you could place it pretty much anywhere and it would work. And Cats and Dogs actually isn't that much of an important expansion pack in this. I think the only like really major thing that you need from Cats and Dogs is that door that I put on the front there, the barn door from Cats and Dogs. But honestly, like, you could go without that. You could replace that with something from a different pack. There's probably something from base game you could replace it with. I just decided to go for that one with this one. Then the windows, the traditional styled windows at least, are going to be not Cats and Dogs, I'm sorry, Seasons. So that is fairly important, but I think that, again, you could replace those with something from base game. It just might be a little bit inconvenient. And then, let's see. So the furnishing for the inside is very, very primarily Jungle Adventure, because I was trying to achieve kind of like a mix of rustic and modern, and Jungle Adventure does that really well. So I think those should be the two main packs. So if you have Jungle Adventure and Seasons, I'd say you'd be able to download this pretty well. I tried to keep most of it base game, like the wallpapers and stuff. I know right now I have one from, whatchamacallit? It's the exercise pack. I'm forgetting what it's called right now for some reason. That's so weird. Usually I can recall the names of packs like right off the top of my head. But, fitness stuff pack, yeah. So that's where it's from right now. But I do change that off camera, so it's going to be one of the stone ones from base game. Or not stone, but like concrete-ish. It looks good, trust me. Or I think it looks good at least. But anyway, now I'm just putting windows on the outside of the house, and this is something that I do. I usually build the shell of the house, and then I furnish it on the inside, which is what we're going on to do. Or actually, no. First, we're going to make the greenhouse outside, but we don't furnish it yet, I don't think. And then I'm going to go on and furnish the interior of this house, because that's what I tend to do. I don't know, I know people, sometimes they landscape and stuff before they do the furnishing because it's easier for them. But I like to kind of just get the house out so that I can do the furnishing, because obviously you can't furnish a house that doesn't exist yet. But anyway, I am sorry that this build is going up today, because actually, if I'm being honest, my plan was for it to go up 2 days ago. I finished building it. Oh my god, I can't speak. I finished building it 2 days ago, but then I just didn't have time to record a voiceover and everything, and I didn't really feel like it. And so then I decided to put it off, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna go up today, which is the day that I'm recording this, which should be yesterday when it goes up, when you see it. But then again, I didn't have time to do a voiceover and stuff. So now it's coming out when Island Living is probably flooding your feeds. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you'll want to see something that's not really Island Living centered, because I know even people that aren't building with Island Living are building like beach houses and stuff that are like base game beach houses, which, by the way, there are some amazing ones out there. I'm really amazed with some of the beach houses that people have built that they don't use Island Living for. It's really, really cool, but yeah, I don't really think this is very centric to Island Living at all. This voiceover might be a little bit because oh yeah, that's the other thing. Last night when I probably could have had time to record this voiceover, I had just downloaded Island Living at that point, and I just really wanted to play with it and like test it out and stuff. And speaking of testing it and playing with it, oh my goodness, can I just take a second to say that I think Island Living is the saving grace of gameplay in The Sims 4 for me, because like I got pretty tired of gameplay pretty fast. I don't know, maybe I'm just not a creative game player as I am a builder, because I don't ever get bored building really, but like with gameplay I feel like there's way more limitations. But the gameplay in Island Living is so good. I love it a lot. And then the build items are also so good. I have a build that I'm planning to do. It's actually not an Island Living build, like it's not going to be in Sulani, but there is a build that I've been planning to do for a while that I kept sitting down to build like before Island Living came out, and I just couldn't get myself to do it because there were so many items from Island Living that I had seen in trailers and from other people's videos that I knew that I would want to use. So I decided to wait until Island Living came out for that. I'm not sure exactly what my plan is for what video I'm going to be making next or build I'm going to be doing next, because I definitely want to build in Sulani, but to be honest, it's like very out of my comfort zone. I don't really ever like, I know I say this every single video, and I'm definitely, especially like having this YouTube channel, I've tried to like add more variety to where I build and what I build and stuff, because I don't want to build suburban houses over and over again, which is what I tended to do before. But I still feel like Sulani is just it's so different from anything I've ever done. So I definitely am going to build there some, but I just feel like I need to get more acclimated with it and stuff. And also, another great thing about Island Living that I'm so excited about is that they've added so much culture to the game. Like, I don't think I've ever talked about this before, but it's one of my major complaints about The Sims 4 is that every part of the culture in it is so centric to like the American culture. Or maybe I'm just saying that because I'm from America, so like that's what I know. But it's like you don't really see culture from other places in the world. Like I know they added stuff with city living, but that was more like cast items, and then they were like, yeah, now it's cultureful, and it just really wasn't. And it still obviously has a long way to go, but they've added so many gameplay elements that reflect the Polynesian culture, and it's just so great that they have that in there now. I'm just really happy about it. I'm really excited, but because like if you think about where people live who play The Sims, like even my viewer demographics that I've seen, there's something around, I don't know the exact statistics, but it's around 9% of my viewers, which obviously is not very much, are from the US. And so it's really weird because I'm assuming that most people that watch my videos like The Sims or play The Sims. So it's really weird that that is like the lowest percent or the low percent, because that means that people from so many other places in the world play The Sims, and their just cultures are just, they're not reflected there at all. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time getting this out because I feel kind of strongly about it, but I really think that's important, and I'm really glad that they added so much culture into this pack, because obviously it sucks that you have to, like, it's a pack, so you have to buy it, especially if you wanna reflect your own culture in the game. It's really unfortunate that they've put it in a pack like this, but I think it's one of the best things they could have done anyway, and it's definitely a step in the right direction, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if they get a positive response from this pack for adding culture into it, then they're gonna do more in the future. So yeah, it's good. But anyway, I kind of talked over the entire kitchen and everything, but yeah, as you can see here, there is a lot of seasons and jungle adventure in here. Like I said earlier, actually, I think that's all I see in here besides cats and dogs, which is the little like wicker rug type thing and the door. But, oh, and Parenthood. I used the Parenthood wallpapers. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, man, the wallpaper for the kitchen is also Parenthood. Or, not Parenthood, I'm sorry. The wallpaper for the kitchen is also cats and dogs. But there is a really good wallpaper in base game that's almost exactly like that. I think the color is just like slightly different. So you could replace that with that one if you want to for the kind of, I don't know what you call it, planking in the kitchen. But anyway, now we're just moving on to the living room, and thankfully I used a base game wallpaper in here. I'm sorry, it's like, I didn't try to pack restrict this build at all, but I was just really hoping that I would pack restrict it as much as I could, because I don't like having, a ton of packs. Like, I want to make it as accessible as I possibly can while still being able to really enjoy it. Like sometimes if it's a community lot especially, I go all out on community lots, but at least with houses, I try to make the main things all from one pack so that you can, you know, have it accessible and whatnot. But anyway, I do end up using a fireplace in here. Like I said, this entire house is a very strange mix between modern and traditional. Like the floors in here, at least I feel, are on the more traditional side, or at least rustic. I don't know if I would call anything in here traditional, but there's a lot of rustic stuff. But I think that it like mixes really nicely, especially because then I put in the jungle adventure tile and stuff. Oh, speaking of the jungle adventure tile, by the way, I haven't used that in so long, and I was just so happy to be able to use it again, because it's such a beautiful tile. I don't know why, but I kind of forgot it was in the build catalog or something like that. But I used it now, so we're fine. Everything's great. And then, anyway, I'm just using this table from Get Famous. I'm sorry, I'm very bad at voiceovers. If you couldn't already tell, I like spend all of the first 5 minutes talking about stuff, and then after that it kind of lags a bit. But hopefully you don't mind that much. I mean, I hope you're here for the build also. If you're here just for my voiceover, you might be a bit disappointed, but I think this build is actually really nice. I'm very proud of this. This is kind of out of my range of normalcy. I don't really do stuff like this usually, but I did this time, so that's fun. But anyway, I just put on these curtains. Oh, those are from Movie Hangout. Well, you can replace those ones from the base game that are like cream, and they're just two cream curtains that hang down. Trust me, see, this is what I do, and it kind of sucks because I look at stuff and I think to myself that it's rational because you could easily replace that with something from the base game, but I still put in the thing from the pack because I feel like it looks better. And it's kind of unfair, but also, I mean, it's just that it like turns people off of downloading the build because they don't necessarily look at it and immediately think, oh, I could replace that with that thing that I have. So yeah, that's why I kind of feel the need to talk over this and be like, you could replace this with this and that with that. But hopefully you agree and aren't too repulsed by my use of packs, because I don't know. I just think it's more fun to build when you're not restricting yourself or limiting yourself so much. But by the way, I do want to do a base game beach house. Actually, there's one right now up by Jess Hearts that I watched. It is literally so amazing. It's just so good. And I always feel so inspired after I watch her videos, because she's just a really, really good builder, and that one is a base game house. So I'm kind of scared that if I do a base game beach house, I'm going to literally just copy exactly what she did. So I think instead of being like island living vibe beach house, it'll probably be more of a nice like suburban type of beach house. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I also, it's kind of confusing because I have a lot of houses that are built on beaches that I'm planning on doing soon. So I want to do one that's in Windenburg, like on the island, and it's gonna be a traditional beach house with a modern extension because I just really love those houses, and I've never actually done a traditional with modern extension before. So yeah, I feel like that's a really nice place to try that out. I've seen a lot of people do houses like that on there before, and I also like the pack default comes with some that are similar to that, so that's what I'm doing there. And then probably it'll be in Willow Creek when I do my base game beach house. Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of other plans too, but those are the two off the top of my head. Sorry. Especially because the one in Windenburg, I kept wanting to do it. I just kept, like I said earlier, thinking about all the things from Island Living that I didn't have yet that I wanted to use in it. So yeah, you should expect that soon though, because I'm really, really excited to get started on that. But anyway, then up here is a loft area. Can it be called a loft area? I don't know what the technical definition for a loft area is. I mean, it's like pretty open, you know? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What I mean is that there's not separate rooms besides the bathroom partitioned off up here. But I don't know if a loft area technically has to have some kind of cutout so you can see it from downstairs. Maybe it does, I don't know. But either way, out here just now I added in a glass roof window light type thing, and then I thought maybe you could go in there and read a book or something. I don't know. Seemed like a good idea to me. I don't know how many people actually read in their spare time. That might just be a me thing. Actually, I know that's not a very common thing anymore, which is really sad. I mean, I know there are a lot of people that read, but for the most part, most people that I've met, maybe it's just because I'm a teenager, right? And teenagers are kind of anti anything to do with school. Not all of them, but most of them are. But I haven't met a lot of people that do read much. I think it's just because adults don't really, most adults at least, don't have time, from my viewpoint at least, and then kids don't want to because they're kids. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for you, but I really like to read, so that is something that I do usually when I'm building. I'm like, oh yeah, like I would want this, so I put it in even though it doesn't make the most sense for like a sim that would live here. I don't have a lot of backstory for a sim that would live here, but I thought maybe they just bought this barn and then they just, they just renovated it, obviously. Like, I mean, obviously it's a renovated barn, right? Or maybe it's not actually a renovated barn and that's just my excuse for like building a house with a really, really simple shape. But my plan from the beginning wasn't for it to be a renovated barn, so I don't think I'm unjustified in saying that. Sorry, this is a lot of rambling. But anyway, up here, I don't know, I do a fair amount of clutter on this, but not a lot. I don't know, I just feel like they wouldn't be minimalistic necessarily, but they probably wouldn't be into having a ton of stuff that they don't feel like they need. Like, I don't really think looking at this, it doesn't really look minimalistic, but they're kind of the philosophy that if you don't need something, you shouldn't have it. I think they just have a lot of stuff that they need. But yeah, then I put an easel in here, so probably an artist sim. Maybe the type that like really wants to be good at art but isn't actually good at art, so they have an easel and like they do these really bad paintings. That's kind of mean of me. I don't know. Maybe they're really good at art, but I was kind of definitely, like, I was leaning towards a more creative sim. I always do that. I always do the like sim that's in touch with nature and they're creative and they're artsy and stuff. But so definitely likes gardening also because it's a farm. Not a farm, it's a barn. But there is a greenhouse, so I feel like you kind of have to be at least minorly enthusiastic towards gardening if you have a greenhouse, Like, otherwise, what's the point, really? But anyway, right here, I'm adding in a tarp and some paint cans just to, like, fill out that space more, I always feel like sometimes spaces just look empty, and it bothers me when they look empty, because, I don't know, it's just annoying, Yeah. But anyway, now I'm just working on the bathroom. I probably should have cut this out, honestly. It's kind of boring, but, I feel like I always feel obligated to include at least one bathroom, and there's only one bathroom in this house. So, could this be considered a tiny house? I don't think it could, right? Because it has a really complete downstairs living area. Like, there's basically no limitations on the downstairs. It's just it only has one bedroom. I feel like you could probably fit in another bed. Yeah, you definitely could. If you cut off like the office space down there in the living room, you could fit in another bedroom. So hey, now it's a 2-bedroom house. I'm sorry. I'll stop now. But yeah, I just added some flowers up here. Like I said, I am trying my best to like include some rustic items so that it's not only really modern, because I feel like that would look kind of weird and out of place. And I always have a hard time with that. Like, whenever I'm doing a combo of styles, I always have a hard time drawing the line. Like, where do you say, okay, it looks like it fits with the outside, but it also, like, has a cohesive inside? But I think I did well with that on this build. Honestly, Jungle Adventure was, like, a saving grace for that, though, because I don't think I could have done it without Jungle Adventure. I'm sure I could have, like, I would have managed, but it was definitely very, very helpful. And then, yeah, so that's the inside all done, except for at the end. I realized that I put a cat bowl on the counter, and then I just never, like, followed up. Like, I never put in any other pet stuff. So that was kind of, yeah, a stupid moment for me, but I fixed it at the end. You'll see I go ahead and put all this cat stuff randomly. So, yeah, you can have a pet in here. And then right out here, I was gonna add this pergola. I probably should have cut this out, huh? I'm sorry. I didn't really edit this video very well, but I was gonna add this pergola, but then I realized that it just didn't, like, there was not really space out here to put anything back here, so it would have been kind of pointless to have the pergola. I could have added one out from the chimney, I guess. Yeah, I really want to improve my skills on outdoor areas, because I think I'm fairly good at outdoors, but I don't really get as creative with them as I do with interiors. So yeah, hopefully I will be able to do that soon. I'm really, I don't know, I just feel so excited to build right now. That always happens after a new pack comes out. But honestly, right now I'm also excited to play Island Living. See, that's the issue. This has never happened to me before. Usually when I get a new pack, I'm excited to build with it, or I'm excited for the cast items or building and cast. But I've never really been like ecstatic for gameplay with a new game. I'm so excited for the everything about this pack. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know how it ranks for me. Like, would I put it over packs that I really like? Because I really like Parenthood and Seasons and those types of packs. And this obviously is a completely different style, but it has so many things that I really like about it. So I don't know. I could do a review on it. I don't know. I don't feel like that's really necessary. So many people are already throwing their opinions out into the void, and we really don't need any more probably. But overall, it's definitely a positive opinion. I just don't know how it would rank for me compared to other packs. But anyway, the landscaping on here is pretty basic. I did make sure to keep the landscaping all base game because I didn't want the exterior to have much taken away from it if you don't have a lot of packs. Although I guess the greenhouse is kind of useless if you only have base game. But you could definitely replace a lot of this stuff, like these the jungle adventure tiles you could replace with a different floor tile, and then you could replace the cats and dogs. Those side tables that I'm putting the plants on right now are from cats and dogs, but you could replace all of that stuff. And the chair and everything. That's the thing. I feel like with interiors you can kind of manage to replace things fairly easily unless it's a very specific style. So out here in this greenhouse, you could definitely replace like most of the stuff here that's not from base game. But like inside you would have a pretty hard time without jungle adventure. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't sure exactly what to put in this greenhouse because it's kind of difficult to furnish a greenhouse in the first place. Like, what do you really put in there? I mean, looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, you could have like decorated it more, made it prettier. But whenever I'm actually building, I kind of don't really have a ton of ideas. So I kind of depend on my ideas that I imagine before I start the building to actually do the build. I mean, obviously I get inspired while I'm building, and I come up with all these different things and stuff. But I feel like it's a greenhouse. There's not a ton of stuff you could do. But I wanted to make it rustic and not super modern. Because it's kind of a nice contradiction to the interior of the rest of the... Oh, by the way, when I say modern, I don't mean like futuristic type of modern. I mean like contemporary, obviously. I think you've probably figured that out by now. But I just mean it's not super traditional because futuristic modern in this house would just not work, I don't think. Maybe it could. Actually, I'd love to see that, like where someone takes the exteriors of a ton of different builds and then... Like, that could be takes an exterior that's a really distinct style, and then they try to furnish the interior, or maybe also, like, landscaping and stuff with a ton of different styles, so that you have, like, a traditional exterior, and then you have a super modern interior, or vice versa, or whatever. I think that would be really cool, because, I mean, I'm sure that a challenge like that exists probably, but I'd love to see a series like that. I think that would be very interesting to watch, especially because like there's definitely ways to do it. Like you couldn't get anything to work with anything else if you really try and you get like the right objects. But it takes a very specific eye to be able to pick out those things and stuff. Definitely takes some skill. I don't know if I have it, but I'm working on it. But anyway, we are coming along to the end of the build now. I'm just finishing up the landscaping. So if you like this build, you can download it off of the Sims 4 gallery to play in it. My origin ID is Thatsjaylin, and then if you like this video and you would like to see more, make sure to subscribe to my channel. You can like and comment on this video to let me know if you like it and ask any questions. And that's it. Bye!